And then I think I'm gonna see if I can make you co-host as well. Okay. Will you be adding whoever comes?
Yeah,
Will you be admitting them in the group?
sure. Let them in, of course.
Yes. Okay. And if you silence here, I silence you, okay? Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. There's people who will be watching this later and some others who are here. So thank you to those who are here. And I'm ready to start because we have only 1 hour and there's so much that I want to share with you. So, as you know, last Sunday we started the autumn equinox, which was marking the end of the summer and the beginning of the autumn. And these transitions are very, very important for us humans because, on a very esoteric level, there's of course, the change of the season, but then on a very internal level, our organs, our psyche is gonna play out in a different way that it normally does. And that's why some of us might get very unwell in these transitions health wise, or things will manifest in our realities that might be challenging. And it's incredible that we don't learn these things since we are little. And today I bring you some information that might help you in moving through the season and understanding better what is the autumn about. And like I named this webinar, we are going to base that on the wisdom of the 5 elements as well as the wisdom of metal. When you teach the 5 elements, when you learn about it, we start with water always because water is like the most yin element. Yin is the feminine, not the feminine as a feminine body, but as the yin principle in us, the yin element, the feminine element. And our body is mainly feminine. All our organs are yin. The body is mainly water. Water is yin. But what happens, and what I will be developing in the course that is starting in September, is that most of us are, it doesn't matter if we are in Bangladesh or in the United States, we are run by fire. We are run by yang. And that's why in the old days, people would get certain illnesses in their 50s and 60s, and these days there's children and teenagers and very young people getting certain illnesses that were degenerative and more linked to older people. And it's because of this young energy that we are cultivating and that we are run by. And yang energy, the most yang element, like I said, the most yin element is water. And the more yang element is fire. Those are the 2 principles. That's why you will see many yin and yangs with this fire and water meeting. And the reason why there's so much pathologies in our days is because there's a war inside of us where the yang principle is overtaking the yin principle. And when this happens, we came into this dimension where our organs were in peace, and more the organs are at war and in conflict. So I am going to show you, bear with me, this this is the interaction of the 5 elements and the 5 major organs. So you have a visual. I don't normally use visuals because I think it's good to exercise the right side of our brain where we have to imagine things. But I know this can be quite complex. The first time you approach it, it's very simple. There's everything that we talk about is here, but so you have a better understanding with the visuals. So as I was saying, everything starts here, water. Water is the element where we first as embryos and then developing as fetus and finally a full developed human being in the womb of our mothers, we came in the waters. This is like the most yin element, okay? And this is kidney, and this is the season is winter. And it's very, well, I will explain later, but it's very important that you grasp the importance of this water principle. We came in water, we came in the waters of our mom. Our bodies are mainly water. Our planet is mainly water, and it's the most yin principle. Then we go into the wood. We say that water is the mother of wood because you want to grow a tree, you water the tree, and that tree is that wood element is connected to the liver on the right side, just below your right lung, and to the season of spring. Wood is the mother of fire. You feed a fire with wood, and that's the heart and the summer. And then this fire, you get the ashes, and the ashes are compost for the earth to grow things, and that's connected the earth to stomach and late summer. We've just been through the season of earth, the season of harvest. And now, just on Sunday, we are entering the season of autumn, metal, and lung. Yes, the lungs. So, and metal is the mother of water because you fuse metal and it becomes a liquid. So this is the whole of the wheel. And so every element is the mother of the following one. So if you want to regenerate an element, then you follow this cycle. Everything which is alive is following a clockwise cycle. When you want to heal something, you work clockwise. But when you want to clean something, take out dirty energy, dense energy, you go anti-clockwise. Yes, so and there's a whole wisdom, there's a whole way to play with it that I will be explaining in the following months. From a body perspective, it's like this. From the perspective of the more esoteric aspects, when we work with water, we are working with a dimension which is all about the emotions. Emotional wisdom, emotional intelligence is connected to the waters. Women are generally have more water than men, a female's body. A female's body needs to understand water to be able to manage ourselves in a way where we have this intricate emotional intelligence. When that doesn't happen, taking into account that what is water connected to the moon, the water in our oceans, in our seas, in our bodies are run by the moon. This is science. So if you see the cyclic nature of the moon, you understand the cyclic nature of the waters, and you understand the importance of understanding and mastering those waters inside and outside. In sacred magic, the water is connected to the capacity to merge. Psychic people have a lot of water in their astrological charts, it could be not maybe, you could be in Sagittarius, but you might have blueprints, very strong blueprints of water, very strong blueprints of Neptune, very strong blueprints of the moon. And you see an astrological chart and you see people who are highly, highly psychic. And what happens to many psychic people is that they can get unwell very easily because they don't understand the elements, because they live their reality not like very earthy people that a table is a table and the laptop is the laptop. No, what they see is like a fog, a sea of water, an ocean of water, and then it gets very complicated to know what is real, what is not. They feel things that are not really happening, but they get confused. So the water element is crucial to be mastered, and is the mother of all the other elements. It's the most yin element. And metal, this autumn, metal is just preceding the element of water. So that's why I was very excited at this meeting to be able to give you some guidelines to work with metal in the next week or so, to really understand and have, like a plan, a strategy for making your life easier for the next few months. So this metal energy, it's going to be connected mainly with your capacity to let go, with your capacity of cutting ends and making your life simpler. A person who is metal, by definition, is a person who is very together, very concealed, very sharp, like a sword made of metal, yes? Normally they don't have many friends. They can be quite sharp, quite internal, and they can be very cutting sometimes. There's a discernment and a contemplation, and there's a certain level of silence that they bring into the picture. These people, because in the course I will be explaining deeply, but to give you an example, these people, if there are people for every element, you have a combination of maybe of the 5 elements, but 2 are your major elements. Those people who have a major element as metal are the best people that can be the companions of humans and animals to die. When you die, you want a metal person next to you, because that metal person can hold it together very well, okay? And think that we all have metal, and think that you might not be metal, but might need to learn a lot from metal. So these people can, bring this energy of the sword, bring this energy of, I love this word in English, poise. There's a poise, and there's a capacity to contemplate and really understand what is happening. These people are normally yogis and spiritual teachers. They are people that connect to reality in a way that you might sometimes think they are dissociated, and what is happening to them is that they are so in contact with very deep truths. What happens to these people if they don't channel well, and this could be you, or this could be your mom or your partner or your child. It could be anyone around you, even yourself. What happens to these people if they don't understand well this element is that their minds could get really paranoid because they can become over analytical. It could happen as well that they might be completely buried in sorrow and grief because they might have issues in letting go. These people might become asthmatic, they might have issues with their lungs, with their breathing, and interesting, we are talking metal lungs and we are talking also about the large intestine. So we are talking about something here and something in the gut. And that is very powerful because it gives you an understanding that is not coming from here and then affecting the gut. It's also happening in the gut and affecting the lungs. When you have an issue in the lungs, you have to go to the large intestine and vice versa. This is science. This is Chinese medicine. This is super powerful. So this psychic energy in the organs is already telling us about what is happening in the metal element with us. Lungs and large intestine. Okay? So the point here with the sword, with the metal, is that you remember, like I said about some moments ago, about this water element and about the merging with this psychic energy and seeing through the material realm. What happens is that sometimes, and many of the people I work with them happens, people get too immersed in the reality of the other, too immersed in the psychic energy of an event, a place, an animal, someone sick, and then you lose yourself. And then you don't know what's you, what's the situation, what's the other. What's the saving grace here? The element of metal. It cuts. It brings the mind. It means that I told you to, if the metal is not well channeled, you can become over analytical and even paranoid. But if the metal is in good place, you can have a great mind, a sharp mind, a cool, metal is cold, a cool mind. The mind needs to be cold. There cannot be fire in the mind. What happens to most people is that there's fire in the mind. And every single organ needs to feed that fire. And all these yin organs become yang and become on fire to feed that mind. Then the mind is not cool anymore. Because the brain, that is not the mind. The brain is a decoder. The mind body is on flames. And what happens is that it burns out. The adrenals burn out. And then there's no possibility of that sharp thinking, cool thinking, that the metal can bring, that the lungs can bring. Because those that study with me might remember that I've said many times through the years, the lungs give us uprightness and courage. When the lungs are compromised, we can become cowards, depressed. We can completely lose our zest for life. And we can become quite disconnected from the other. And wake up in the morning and be total in dorsal energy, which is the part of the autonomic nervous system connected to the reptilian brain that collapses because cannot function. What many people say, many women say that it's their menopause, is not their menopause. It's that they are burnt out. Their adrenals and their brains are burned. And the same thing for men who think they are having prostate problems and they are having cognition problems. And what is happening is that they are burnt out. Did they start being burnt out in their 40s or 50s? No, it was in their 20s, in their 30s, and then they are having a byproduct effects of being burnt out because their life is based on young. And I'm gonna challenge you here, or many of you here, because what happens with this young energy is that it's addictive. Yes, normally you see that in my websites and when I publicize my courses and things, I put in prints like this big, don't leak energy. We are leaking energy. We think we are, very good at running, and we might not be generating energy. We might be burning ourselves out. It's not that it's not about running or lifting weights. It's from which place are you running or lifting weights. If you're doing it from a place where you're burning yourself, that's why many athletes are dying these days. Yes, vaccinations and other things, but it's also because you are working on burnt energy. So you're burning your organs inside. The idea is that we generate energy. So we stop being addicts to losing energy. What you might think is that you are resting, watching a movie, might be an addiction to leaking energy. When you think that you are just resting on a chair, you are leaking energy there. Of course, if you have to sit straight, you have to make an effort. But you have to make an effort until the time where being like this is a horror movie. You have to stay straight because that holds you inside. So it's the same thing with foods. Some foods, they are pleasurable, whatever you want to, but why are we addicts to them when we feel so horrid afterwards? Why? Because we are addicts to losing energy. This is not my invention, this is Chinese medicine. When we become addicts to losing energy, it's very easy to become thieves. Yes, thieves. Because we need to steal energy from places, from others, and it's only natural. It's like the organs. The organs are going to be in harmony and being the mother. Those kidneys, the mother of the liver, the mother of the heart, the mother of the spleen, and the stomach, the mother of the lungs. But if that becomes, there's conflict, what happens is that they start robbing energy from each other. And if you ever get vampirized, it's because you vampirized others. This freaked me out as well when I first learned and I was taught this. But it's the way it happens. Because we are feeding from others and others are feeding us. When we stop that cycle and we become fully conscious and in charge of our energy system and we generate energy, so we rejuvenate constantly, so we cultivate longevity, what happens is that we don't vampirize others, and others certainly don't vampirize us. So people talk a lot about, protecting ourselves from others and all this thing, which is right. But what we want is to have such a strong aura where we don't have to worry about that. That takes study and cultivation and understanding. It's not an easy trick. The 8 steps to have a strong aura, forget about it. This doesn't work like that. It takes a lot of dedication to really say, I'm going to generate energy to lift those weights, to run, to study, to be a therapist. If you are not generating energy, people are burning you out, your exercise is burning you out, and healing others might be hurting you. This is incredible. This is how it is, and it's not my invention. Why you go to a Chinese medicine doctor and he doesn't get very close to you? There's always a distance. You might interpret that in a million ways. The truth is that he understands this movement in the organs and these movements between people. So many doctors that know about energies, they don't treat certain type of patients with certain illnesses because they know they soak energy, not even consciously, is the way that the body survives. Because we are in that survival mode, many of you are. The idea is stop being in that mode psychically and internally, and being able to learn to generate energy. And life really changes when you generate your own energy. It's incredible. So now you say, okay, Sole, so how can I organize this in this moment in history? In my personal history. So the first thing is to sit with yourself, and I invite you while I talk about it to really reflect. What is hurting me in my life? Hopefully nothing, yeah? But let's assume, because we are in all process, the collective is changing, our socio-economic life is really shifting on a world level, and we are having to make changes, internally and outside. You can say, what is hurting me, or what parts of me I could really do with recycling? Which habits I could do with transforming into being more regenerative? What attitudes? What I can let go of and really move on and create a new chapter, even for some of us, a new volume in this biography of ours. And this might take some thoughts, or this might be instant because you know. And then when you look at how can I bring this into action, is really connecting to the belly, to your physical belly, yeah? And I invite you to touch it, yeah? And I invite you to really make, when I put my fingers, I make certain circles, and you'll see some parts that are hard and some parts where it's very tender, or some that is very just relaxed. And remember, we are going to do it clockwise, yes? Not anti-clockwise, clockwise. This mirrors opposite way, but I'm doing it clockwise. So you touch there, and this is one of the essential things in my work. Don't have an opinion about it. Just feel into it. And when we do this mudra, and you put it there gently, and I invite you to breathe deep in your perineum. This is where the fire should be, in your pelvis. Why are so many people getting pelvis surgery? Do you think we are really so badly designed that our pelvis are supposed to die off, when we age? or to break our pelvis, like many people. What's happening there? There's no fire. You don't want fire here. You want the fire in the pelvis, okay? So connecting to that, I invite you to do 3 deep breaths. And because your mics are off, voice is very powerful to voice that hurts you or that is nagging you. Or that, that argument with Robert last night really got to me. Or this new person I'm doing business with is giving me issues. Or my bank account is not looking great. Or I could lose some weight. Or I could put on some weight. Or my lungs are not very happy. Or I'm having insomnia. So whatever thing is, and bring it down, bring it into your pelvis. Don't breathe in the chest, just very low. And we have a diaphragm down by the pubic bone, so you imagine or feel, if not visualize, that this pelvic diaphragm here, yes, here, this is my pelvis, here, you imagine that your breathing was massaging that area. Maybe you can feel it. If you are a chest breather or a shallow breather, that is also telling us what's happening to the metal element. Nothing wrong, we are just bringing consciousness. So you feel it, imagine or visualize, and you voice it. Jenny is getting on my nerves. My dog is not happy, I'm not happy, whatever it is. As silly as it may seem, or as someone is sick in my life, whatever is hurting. And you breathe into diaphragm. And let's do 3 deep breaths, okay? But name it aloud. And I hold you. 1, 2, and 3. And we continue. So I invite you to hold your belly there. Nothing to think or anything, just hold your belly where you're sitting. And continue breathing. You never judge your body. Our bodies should never be our enemies. Should be our allies. Or we should be an ally of our bodies. And this is where we are trying to get. If you are already an ally, to get you to the next level of alliance with this beautiful body that is the only anchor into this reality. The day this body leaves, ciao, goodbye, we leave. So while we have it, let's discover what's there, because the whole of the universe is blueprinted in the body. There's a metal element. I have my lamp, my laptop, mobile phone, certain metals in the wardrobes. We are surrounded by metal. Metal is neat, sleek. And on Sunday is Archangel Michael's day. Archangel Michael is famous and popular and known for holding a sword. That sword, and I'm not talking about Catholicism at all, talking about something more ancient and way more profound than that, is the sword that cuts through any form of bullshit that we might carry in our lives. It's a sword, metal, that brings good quality of mind. How beautiful it is to be with metal people that have clarity. In a meeting, there's the beautiful thing is that there are metals and fires and woods and waters, and The beauty from Aquarius groups is that everyone brings their flavor. The metals would bring precision. They like clarity. If you are very water and very going off, off on one, the metal person would take you to really, okay, be precise. The metal inside you is about, okay, Anam, Cara, Sara, Julie, Nana, Camille, Alice, what are you trying to get to? What is important here? What are you sieving through? What's this? They say that Jesus, Maria Teresa, or Gandhi would have a lot of metal in them. They were very clear in what they were doing, how they were doing, and they were successful in what they were doing. There was a precision. The metal element chooses their friends. It's precise. People might think they don't say much and they might get on the nerves because there's that precision. It's not about if you are like that or not, but they are qualities that are very nice. A wood person is the opposite. A wood person is more like a soldier. It's in the action and in the doing, and if there's a conflict, it's gonna move. If there's a meeting, the wood is gonna say, "Come on, can we just shake this up? Can we move?" While the waters are, "Oh, chill, it's so nice. Let's talk about how lovely this is." The wood is gonna say, "Okay, come on." And the fire are just going to lead the way. And the metal is going to be contemplative, it's going to be precise, it's going to be quiet. You might think they are not even there, and they are just going to drop something, and you're going to say, "Oh my God." You might not like it, but it's going to go straight into the point. Imagine that quality in you. Not that you have to become that person. You might not be, and you don't have to be, but you can certainly require more of. You see a metal person, like I said before, being the companion of a dying person or a dying animal, is exquisite and makes people cry because they are able to hold so much. And don't we need a little bit of that? And I said before, the metal is about your aura. The metal is about being protected. The animal that has the biggest aura. In the Occident, we would say that it's the lion. And in Orient, in the oriental side of the planet, we would say it's the tiger. Feline energy. That's why dogs are incredible, but the aura of cats is different. You really feel it. So imagine that one of the lion or the tiger. And who are they? The totem animals of the lungs. I forgot my suitcase at home. I'm not at home, so I was gonna wear white. But the color is white. So think of a white lion or a white tiger. Those are the totems. Yes, and I want you at home, or if you are watching this later, to imagine a white tiger or a white lion circling around you. Getting, like the cats, they do this thing and they touch you and they play with you. So imagine this cat giving you the courage and the uprightness that you need in your life. There's something very regal about metal people. When they are very well put together, it's like they were not even touching the floor. You could imagine a metal being like a ballerina, something very graceful. There's a grace in the metal element. And this, being metal or not, is what we are calling it, this metal energy. this, to be in that metal, the clarity of mind, the grace, the courage, the uprightness. What do we need? We need to cultivate the ending of things and being okay with that. That's where metals can get very lost because they cannot let go. So because it's metal time, we need to enter the winter, remember water, and metal is the mother of water, and we want to be very happy in this winter. So I invite you to go through your house and recycle anything that you don't want. Give it, sell it, throw it away. Don't have any leftovers. If there are things that, there are millions of books and advice on how to get rid of things. I'm not gonna go into that. It's a good time to really be very minimalist. Some of us like, to have many things. Some others minimalist. I'm not saying minimalist is the good thing. Even if you like loads of sculptures and little bits and bobs in your home, that's fine. But take away those that you don't even look at them, that they are collecting dust, that they remind you of someone that is not anymore in your life and you might not like him or her. Books that they are just collecting dust and they don't have any meaning in your life anymore. It's a good time to make a space, and let go. Because it's a time, no coincidence, that is the time of All Saints' Days, of Halloween on the 31st of October, of the dead. It's the pagan New Year. So we want to get to the 31st of October and be very clear and be very clean. And it's a good project to have because the mind then is not going in circles around things. It's okay. If you have a business project ahead of you, it's a good time to sit with it and say, do I move forward with this? Not that you have to take action. Do I embrace this or not? Then you sit with it and let go of any other thing that is on the periphery that doesn't serve you. Remember, it's about minimalism. It's a good time to have haircuts. It's a good time to renew your wardrobe. It's a very good time to get ready for a new level of existence. In the astrology, so I illustrate this a little bit more in the current times, Pluto has started 20 years of Aquarius. There's going to be a revolution at all levels. Technological, we are looking at it, but internal, social, financial, there's going to be a revolution. If we hold on to the old, we're gonna really suffer here. I think metal people are the ones that are gonna have to really look at the future and get ready for a lot. And all of us, because we cannot hold to all that we miss. There's no room for melancholy here. The water people have to be very, very, very careful with that. And because we have metal and we have water, we have to be very clean in letting go, closing chapters, closing friendships, minimalist, and really moving into this new reality. Because 2026 is gonna be a whole new reality. I was saying this about 2020, and I tell you 2026 is gonna be another thing. You are already feeling into it, I'm sure. So, personally, you as a person, you as a business person, or as a worker, or as a mother, or as a partner, or as a community human, need to understand that it's important to practice this, even if you already practice, and nothing that I'm telling you is new. It's good to reaffirm yourselves in this, because new times are going to require a lot of humbleness. There's no final destination. Oh, I got it, I've already done it. No, we've never been in this place ever before. Humanity has never been here. So this autumn may it be a blueprint for the new that is coming our way. And why does it feel so good when you cut your hair, when you throw away things that you didn't care and they were just clutter? Why does it feel so good? Because you're making a space. This is the season for that. And like I told you, if you listen and if you don't, I encourage you, because this is a continuation of the dragon talk that I gave in February, that we are in the dragon year until February. It's a year to get power, the dragon is pointing out, and within that year, the signature of this season is to let go and to clear and to purify the mind so there's less fire. Yes? So activities and things that don't bring more fire in your mind. The fire needs to go down into the pelvis. That's the way. So I invite you to create an altar in your home. If you haven't done it, it's a good thing to create. If you are not into altars, that's fine. Just put a candle and a knife. A good knife. Don't have that with chips or one that doesn't cut. Get a knife that you like. It's great even if you get a ritual knife. What's a ritual knife? Any knife that you only use for ritual. You never gift a knife to anyone. It cuts the bond between people. Never. Scissors or knives you never give away. So you buy your own knife, or you make it, or you whatever you want to do, but your own knife. And if not, just get one from the kitchen that you feel it's good. And you put it in your altar. Yes? And you're gonna bring the water, so you clean it. You can put a little dish with some water and bless it. That's your sacred element of water. And then you put some water on the knife. Then you're going to get some sage or incense, and you are going to the element of air that is symbolized by the knife, by the way, but you bring the incense. Then you will have this candle, and you're going to put not a long time, so you don't want it to become hot. You just want to pass the fire through the knife. You have that fire, and then have some earth. You can have some crystal or some earth from a sacred place that you have, or both. If you have soil, then you put some soil on the knife, and then if it's just a crystal, you get the knife and you just pass the crystal along the metal. I'm not at home, so I couldn't bring my knife. So you do that. Then that knife is sacralized, is sacred, because you've put all the elements, because you are ritualizing the knife. And what you're going to do later is, or whenever you do this ritual, if you wish, is to really connect to that element of the highest purity of metal, and you can pass it through your body very carefully, cutting through any density that might be held there. When you do it in the chakras, you do it from above to below. Yes, that's how you wash yourself, from up, down. So you pass the knife and imagine any cords. You can imagine cords that connects you to people, to events, to certain things that you don't want in your life. You pass them out. like that. And you clean. And you imagine you are cutting down, and you do it. You can do it in your groins, you can do it in the inner thighs, in your knees, anywhere. And you pass it down, and then you pass the fire again. That is what you would do, to clean metal before and after surgery in the old days. You lift it, and then you can hit a flower, yes, a white flower because it's the element of water, of metal, the color water, the color white, apologies. And then you, from the feet up, are going to bring that flower, that white flower, and bring that purity and bring that light into your being. If you wanna do this for 7 days, great. Just one as well. But 7 days is before going to bed or upon waking up, when you have some time that you can really focus, it's very powerful and it works. If you have any bondage to ex-partners, to stories, if you are obsessing about something, if you are becoming over analytical in your life, if you are too cutting, too dry, I would just really work with the element of metal and really open your heart to step into this season in a way where you can enjoy it, because you feel light, because you can open your heart. Yes, the heart is the regulator of the lungs. I will tell you more when we do the course. But it's a great way to work on a metaphysical level with the element. It's a good time to clean the large intestine, because that will clear the gut bit of it, and to dress white. Yes, whenever you feel, if you feel a bit heavy, it's a good time to dress white. It's a good time to get conscious, to do conscious breathing during the day, to deep breath, to massage your belly and make it soft and tender and nice through the breathing. So there's loads of things that you can do to really bring consciousness and awareness into this season, and then go through the portals of winter in the solstice with your work done. So we have 5 minutes, and I would like to know if there are any questions. And Amkan, are there any questions, or anyone wants to write any questions on the chat? Any? Yes?
Is it hi, I miss you. Is it any specific colour candle that we work with?
That's a good question. For this, I would just use white. Yes. In the course, I will be giving other types of candles and be more specific. But for now, I think white is fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very good question. So if there's no questions, or if you haven't got them now but you would like to ask me anything, please do. And what I would love to say is that next Thursday we are starting the Magic Dove, which is gonna be connected to the wisdom of the 5 elements, not in Chinese medicine only, but connected to the wisdom of the sacred magic. So, for example, my daughter just had an eczema, a really bad journey, and it was through the wisdom of the 5 elements that she could get better. Not just through physical health, but also doing some rituals and ceremonies where we went deep into the causes. And it's a course where I'm really looking to share with you new material about how to heal yourself and how to heal others. I will share the wisdom of the plants I will share wisdom of crystals, how to work with your hands, and how to connect to the Holy Spirit in the greater sense of the word, in which it's about how to heal with your higher self, how to be in constant contact with your higher self so you can heal with your hands. So you can heal with your hands. You have the capacity, like me. And first, we heal ourselves. To heal something, you have to cleanse before. So many people, so many therapists get very sick because they don't know how to cleanse themselves or their clients. So many people that are not therapists, but they work with others, they don't clean themselves and they don't do healing properly. And it's not coincidence that in the last years, the last 10 years, many yoga teachers, many therapists, many Qigong teachers have died prematurely. And it's because the work is not being done properly. So it's very important to know how to do certain everyday things. And if you work with others or if you run a family, this is a great course for 4 months that we will be doing a deep journey. It's going to be fun. It's going to be very practical. And I so welcome you to join us. So there's only 5 places left, and you are very welcome to be part of it. So, Anamkara, do we have any questions there? I see the chats, but she's assisting me with that.
Hi everybody. So Sole, the only thing there's a question about somebody having a chat with you, Camille.
Yes, of course, Camille. Yes, tomorrow, please contact me on my WhatsApp or my email better, so we can have a chat. And anyone who wants to chat with me about private sessions or about, working deeper in a group setting, I really recommend it. This course that I'm doing, I put it for less than half a price of its cost, because my journey is about sharing with as many people as possible and making it accessible. You have my own support monthly, plus the sessions on Thursdays, and then the WhatsApp group, which we've been doing for a few years now. And I think it works incredible, not just for you, also for me, because it creates a great sense of community. So yes, you are so welcome to call me or have a chat, and please feel welcome to start next week. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sole. It's been amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sole.
Thank you.
I see you very soon. I can't wait to start the weekly classes next week. I've missed you. And welcome to those like Camille that are new here, to those that will watch this later. And please, yes, feel welcome to the work. Lots of love and happy autumn.
Thank
Happy
you.
autumn.
Lovely to see you all.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao.